Hello, and welcome to the Holford Kingdom. Leon Fu Bartfort, reincarnated into a matriarchal Otome game world, seeks a peaceful life using his game knowledge. Despite his efforts to stay out of trouble, he befriends key characters and disrupts the game's plotlines, often ending up in humorous and thrilling situations and unexpected battles. Make sure to like and subscribe for more. Blackmailed to play the Otome game by his younger sister, the older brother begrudgingly plays through the game while chastising the game's characters and gameplay. Just as he leaves his apartment, he begins to become woozy and loses his footing on the staircase down from his apartment, causing him to fall to his death. Awakening in a younger body, he returns to his home, where he's punished by his father in front of his mother and their guests, Zola and her children. Now going by the name of Leon Fu Bartfort, he's forced to live his life in the Otome game he loathes. To keep himself prepared for everything that occurs in the game, Leon keeps a journal of everything that happens in the game. On the other hand, Leon's plans are foiled when Zola sets him up with an arranged marriage to someone to whom Zola is indebted. Later, Leon asks his father for a favor, and the following day, he takes a boat to a place where the Otome game's protagonist uses it in her storyline. Investigating the ship, Leon finds an ancient ship that a sentry bot is protecting. A battle ensues between the two, but Leon manages to overcome the robot. Back at Leon's home, Zola again chastises Leon for blowing his chance for marriage. Now having acquired a large amount of treasure in his ship, Leon refuses Zora's marriage offer and attends the academy that he so desires. Leon gleefully waters some flowers as Luxian comments on how chipper-mood he is. Luxian suggests that he convert the suitable island for a baronet into a tourist destination that has a hot spring. Looking forward to an easy life as a baronet, Leon learns back at home that he's been granted the title of baron by his father Balkis. A brief explanation of the Holford Kingdom is given as Leon stands before the Holford Academy in amazement. After a while, Leon spots Julius getting slapped by an unknown young lady. The dialogue between them sounds familiar to Leon, but notes that the spoken lines by the female were supposed to be by the game's protagonist, Olivia. Afterward, Leon talks with a couple of boys named Daniel and Raymond about any leads about available girls from wealthy families in the academy. They then witness Angelica approach Julius about his upcoming tea party, but she gets rejected. Soon afterward, Leon holds his tea party, and later he invites Olivia, who admits to Leon that she would like to study magic more and politely behaves with him. Leon suggests that she seek help from Jenna, Leon's older sister. Later, from Olivia, Leon learns about Marie's background, and both Jilk and Greg speak in favor of Julia's decision to favor Marie and continue into the dungeon. Eventually, Olivia manages to find the assignment objective, a crystal, and soon they're accosted by a group of ant monsters. Leon defeats them efficiently, but gets attacked by a monkey, and Leon manages to take him out as well. Olivia then notices the wound on Leon's arm and uses her healing magic to heal the wound. Three girls burn Marie's possessions in a furnace and are later retrieved by Julius, who, accompanied by Jilk, inquires Angelica if she knows who did it. She, however, has no clue who did it. Elsewhere, Leon, Daniel, and Raymond talk about how a couple of rich students have already become engaged. The subject then changes to the recent events involving Julius' love Marie being the target of bullying. Later, Leon hears a noise, and when he goes to find out where it is coming from, Leon is followed by Olivia and the two spot Brand and Marie kissing. I truly believe that these two should take this to a room. Elsewhere, Jenna barges into her brother's room and asks him if he knows of someone named Marie and if he partook in her bullying, but Leon denies it. After a while, a party is held where Daniel, Raymond, and Leon vow to find girlfriends. At the scene of the event, Angelica proclaims that she saw Marie touching the hands of someone who wasn't the prince's, which riles up the crowd watching, and Angelica throws the gauntlet down at Marie. Leon recalls this part as a duel event. For Marie, Julius agrees to be her champion, and for Angelica, Leon volunteers. Leon sets the duels as 5 one-on-one rounds against him and the entourage. Later, Angelica requests that Leon withdraw from the upcoming duel. Despite the outcome of doing that would make both Leon and her lose face, but Leon convinces her otherwise. On the arena grounds, Leon is met by a disdainful crowd. Soon, Leon's battle mech arrives, which is met with ridicule by the crowd, however. All Leon does is smile. As Leon's mech is berated, he reassures Angelica that everything will be fine. Up first to duel against Leon was Brad, who acts and speaks in a boastful manner. Brad immediately goes for the first blow, but Leon briskly dodges and knocks him out with a single hit and ends up being the winner of that duel. The next round begins and Greg steps up to the plate to face off against Leon. The duel begins and Greg incessantly attacks Leon with his spear, which Leon defends against the attacks with his blade and gets the upper hand against him while berating his nonsensical pride. Later, due to Leon's provocation, Greg futilely attacks Leon's mech, and the referee intervenes by calling the match in Leon's favor. Chris is to fight against Leon this time, and Chris openly declares that he'll take his fight against him seriously. The duel begins shortly. Toward the end, Chris attacks Leon with his sword, but Leon grasps and easily breaks it and ends up winning that duel as well. Soon, Lucian reports that Jenna rigged his mech with bombs onto its back under the orders of Jilk. But since Leon's mech isn't an average one, the bombs wouldn't have any effect on it. At the start of the duel, Jilk uses a smokescreen and fires off a single round of an anti-magic armor bullet, but is shocked to see that it didn't work. Shortly after, Leon ends up defeating Jilk. Julius then steps in and asks Julius what he thinks of Olivia, to which he responds that he doesn't have an opinion about her. With that, the final duel begins. The crowd in the audience cheer for Julius to beat the country hick, Leon, and the referee starts the duel. As the duel progresses, Leon taunts Julius about his and his entourage's affection for Marie. This duel is getting nail-biting. Julius then doubles down on his love and conviction for Marie as Angelica tearfully listens to it. Julius then says that the duel will end until one of them dies, and Leon, thankful for that proposition, accepts it. Julius tries to attack Leon, but ends up in his grasp, and he then tries to have a man-to-man talk with him about the consequences if he chooses Marie over Angelica. On the other hand, Julius cares for no nobility or status, just Marie. Thus, Leon coes him with an impact attack, and he officially wins the duel. Elsewhere, Angelica visits the bedridden Julius, and the two have a heart-to-heart about their unrequited relationship. In the end, it becomes clear that Julius only cares for Marie and no one else, hearing that Angelica leaves the prince's side, but wishes the best for the two. Meanwhile, Leon meets with Angelica's father Vince and older brother Gilbert to clean up the mess that he created. Vince accepts this proposal. Some time passes by and Olivia and Angelica ride on Leon's ship back to his home in the countryside. Later, the two ladies then bathe together and have a bit of a heart-to-heart about Olivia's relationship with Leon. Meanwhile, Marie learns from Julius that he and his entourage have all been disinherited of their titles and statuses. Later, Lucian also informs Leon of Julius and his companions' adventures into the dungeon. Students of the Holford Academy prepare for the Culture Festival, and Leon directs Daniel and Raymond setting up a tea party for it. Angelica then enters the scene and shows off herself dressed in a maid outfit and has a special bonding moment with Olivia over their outfits. Meanwhile, former Prince Julius and his entourage host a tea party of their right next door, calling it Café Princess. Julius then invites Leon to it, which enrages Leon because of his stuck-up attitude. As it turns out, the cafe setting was Marie's idea, who then soon arrives and suggests that Leon change his cafe into a break room for hers. But Leon refuses in favor of his master. A bit later, Moline arrives at the cafe hoping to cause some playful trouble for Leon, but witnesses him being berated by the lady who entered his cafe earlier. Angelica recognizes the lady as someone from the Offrey family and asks them to leave, prompting the Offrey lady to speak disparagingly against Angelica. Leon speaks up for Angelica, but gets slapped by one of the Offrey lady's male escorts. It was at this moment that he knew he messed up. Leon begins to have a sinister smile while emitting a dark aura from his body. Leon, then using magical enhancements on himself, beats up the Offrey lady's male escorts despite Moline trying to stop and reason with Leon. He continues to take full advantage of the situation. Back to Leon's cafe, Leon laments that a mob character like him cannot interact with the queen, and Carla enters. Getting on one knee, Carla then requests that Leon save her family. Carla Fu Wayne formally introduces herself to Leon. Afterward, in Leon's room, Lucian asks Leon if he intends to help Carla with her request, and answers that he does. Moreover, it's later assumed that Leon plans on entering the bike race at the end of the festival, whereas Angelica is also a member of its committee. Angelica notes that the ones favored to win are Dan, Fia, Elgar, and Jilk. Olivia then asks if Leon plans to attend. However, they figure he'd be more likely to bet on the race rather than participate. Following the race, Jilk wins the race but is attacked by racers affiliated with a female student named Clarice, who happens to be Jilk's ex-fiancée. Later, Dan approaches Leon and mentions that Clarice was a different person before Jilk called off his engagement with her. Soon, Lucian informs Leon that the modifications to his bike are complete. The other racers then attack Leon during the race. Leon then activates the boosters Lucian installed and manages to take out most of the other racers, leaving only Dan. In the final stretch of the race, Leon manages to pass Dan, but becomes terrified over how fast his bike is going. Leon, though, manages to win the race. However, his bike explodes due to reaching its limits. Later, Leon approaches Olivia and talks with her about what he heard from Angelica. He also gives his opinion of Olivia and Angelica's relationship with each other, and he claims that since she lost followers since the duel, they'll do fine together. Despite the curtness to the answer, Olivia decides to talk with Angelica again. Later, when Olivia was about to visit Angelica, she was visited herself by Carla. Carla tells Olivia that she wants Olivia to help her mediate the meeting between her and Leon. Although Olivia wants to refuse politely, Stephanie appears behind her and insists that she play along and begins to ridicule Angelica's name. Olivia decides to speak up for her friend, but gets her hair pulled by Stephanie, who proclaims that Olivia needs to be punished. The following day, Leon informs Lucian about the sky pirates that Carla asked him to eliminate. Lucian asks if he's prioritizing too much in the game's events, as there's little to benefit from all of that. Lucian then mentions that Leon would become Olivia's love interest, but Leon denies that notion as he's a simple mob character. In the academy, Angelica had hoped to give Olivia a present of goodwill, but found that her dorm door was vandalized. She is then approached by Stephanie. Realizing that Stephanie is the main culprit behind the pirate plot, Angelica grabs her by the collar and threatens to end her. On the ship, Leon wins a card game against Brad and Greg due to his cheating tactics. Meanwhile, the pirates start their assault with 4 armored mechs, and out to greet them is Leon in his armored suit. The pirates are easily overpowered by Leon and even surrender. Afterward, Clara is blamed for the sky pirate, who shifts all the blame to Olivia. Speaking on Olivia's behalf, Leon reveals the truth of why they're there and of Clara's culpability, bringing her to tears. Later, he meets with Olivia, who unloads her thoughts and emotions into her that Stephanie planted. A tearful Olivia accuses Leon and mentions Angelica of the two of them treating her like a pet. On the other hand, Lucian curtly notes that it's Leon's fault that Olivia's mental growth is stunted, but Leon argues he's helped her on several occasions. Meanwhile, Marie and her servant Kyle take on a difficult dungeon in hopes of retrieving an item for the protagonist. Elsewhere, having lunch with Brad and Greg, Leon discusses the plans to take out the remaining sky pirates. As it so happens, the pirates accost them from behind. Inside her cabin, Olivia reflects on what she said to Leon, and at that moment, she learns that pirates are attacking the ship. Out on the battlefield, Leon uses the axe against the pirate leader and manages to defeat and retrieve the holy necklace from the leader. In the aftermath, Olivia heals an injury on Brad's right arm, which surprises him as she has the same healing capabilities as Marie. Soon the ship is approached by a Redgrave voice ship. Talking with Lucian on the ship's deck, Leon lays out his thoughts on the past event and how he'll return to being a simple mob character. However, this plane is ruined due to several events, and after getting rewarded with an air bike from Bernard. Moreover, Leon is to be promoted to rank 5th after he graduates, leaving him completely distraught. Outside of the Holford Academy, Leon and Lucian check out the new air bike Leon received from Clarice. Its translated name means sword, and Leon immediately starts to embrace it affectionately. But Lucian proclaims that he'll mod it now. That night on a luxury passenger ship, Leon and Lucian briefly discuss their plans for when they reach their destination. Eventually, the ship arrives at its destination. Olivia meets with Leon and Angelica at a temple where Olivia gets a blue charm, Angelica a red charm, and Leon gets a charm called the battle charm. The following day, the ship leaves the island. On another ship, a red-eyed female notes how it's nearly time. Another battle is incoming in 3, 2, 1. Meanwhile, back on the deck, an alarm is set off, and a large swarm of monsters approaches the ship. Soon, Olivia and Angelica arrive, and the latter recognizes the red-eyed female is recognized as Princess Gertrude Seraphanos. With the ship's occupants gathered on the deck of the ship surrounded by Phanos soldiers, a man by the name of Gillette introduces himself to them all. Meanwhile, on the Phanos ship, Angelica discusses matters with Gertrude about her intentions to start a war with the Holford Kingdom. On Leon's side, he's imprisoned on the passenger ship and Olivia is there as well. Chris then appears and asks for Leon's help to defeat the Phanos invaders, but gets refused. Chris then pleads with his peers to rise and fight, but they reject his plea. Leon then arrives with Olivia and manages to convince them to face off against the Phanos soldiers. Leon and Olivia then leave while Gertrude plays a magical flute that controls the monsters outside. Lucian informs Leon that Angelica is inside the enemy ship, and Leon suspects the enemy has a magical flute that controls monsters inside of it. Chris then coordinates some male students piloting their armor to fight against the invading monsters to protect the ship from any more danger. On the ship, Gertrude is alerted of Leon's presence and plays the magical flute again to speed up the monster's attack on the ship. On the other hand, Gillette confidently claims that their army's cannon will destroy the student's ship. An enemy ship then fires its cannon at the student's ship. Soon Leon arrives, shoots the soldiers, knocks out Gillette, and aims his shotgun at Gertrude while demanding that she surrenders. Once Gertrude is restrained, Leon escapes on his bike with Angelica and Gertrude because the monster holding the ship has been defeated. Meanwhile, Gillette announces that Gertrude has decided to sacrifice herself in the name of the principality and for the enemy ships to launch an all-out attack. Gertrude accepts this fate and releases her magic from the magical flute, causing the monsters to encircle the ship. The battle goes on, and Olivia ends up falling in the ocean, but gets saved by Leon. There, she confesses his love for Leon. The two ride back to their ship where the enemy is going in full flow. Leon's armor mech then lands on the ship to deal with them. Although Gillette's fleet is in a pinch, the presence of their Black Knight by the name of Vandal Himzenden gives an air of reassurance. Using the arrogance to deftly avoid the enemy attacks with ease, Leon deploys rescue ships to save his student peers as Chris and Deidre coordinate the evacuation. Leon then deploys some drones on the battlefield against Vandal, who easily defeats them and goes for Leon. Using a flash bomb, Vandal plunges his sword into the arrogance, only to cause Leon, while wielding his shotgun, to exit it and have Lucian autopilot it to latch onto Vandal's mech. A large swarm of monsters is then summoned, but under Leon's orders, Lucian annihilates them with a rain of laser beams. Victory in his favor, Leon tells Vandal that he still refuses to kill him and will take his sword as a war trophy. Later at the Holford Academy, Leon enjoys a tea party with Olivia and Angelica. They discuss the matters involving Leon having Chris take credit for defeating the Black Knight, which would allow him to be accepted back into his family. Shortly after, a rematch duel is held, and Greg is chosen to represent the Entourage side. At the start of the match, Lux reports that Greg's armor will explode due to it being haphazardly built. Although Leon tries to warn Greg about his armor, Mr. Know-It-All pays no attention and ends up dying due to the explosion. Later outside, Leon meets with Olivia and Angelica. This makes Lux comment on how Leon is similar to Marie because they hooked up with their respective romantic partners. Thanks for watching. If you found the video enjoyable, give us a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and hit that notification bell to stay updated.